No, the dog didn't eat my homework. Brekkie gave me a concussion. And that's my story today. It wasn't just a matter of what happened. It's about how I see the world. A little differently this week than last. I'm more sensitive in this moment about my fragility as a senior. So there's my story today. What happened and what I discovered. Before I get going with the details about my accident, or should I say Brekkie's little mishap, subscribe so you can follow along on all my related stories about my little house. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll know when they come along. And alike, I always appreciate those, and in this moment in particular, they would be very welcoming. So what happened? You all know I love my dog, right? He and I are quite the team, similar in so many ways. I'm telling you this story because you can actually visualize what happened. You might not know, but Brekkie likes to be within about 6 inches of me all the time. And one of his favorite positions is right behind me. You're familiar with that, yes? He can look like he's draped around my neck, and sometimes he is, literally. But he sits on that couch back, facing you as if to say hi. And when he's not doing that, he's perched there, checking out the window, watching the world go by. My nice big window that looks over a small stand of pine trees, over towards the cherries, now in bloom, that ring the parking lot of the senior housing opposite. I'm so lucky with my location. Anyway, he was doing what he always does. I was doing what I always do. I was browsing a little YouTube, enjoying myself, otherwise empty spaces of minutes, staving off boredom, attending to a little business, whatever it was, normal day, just the way you saw me last week. Suddenly, a squirrel was spotted. Oh, just so enticing. You know how they are with their tails? They just invite attention from other creatures, and that would include my dog. Behind me, where he's out of sight, he suddenly elevated, kicked off, and ran to the door. In his rush to leave that spot behind my back, in the quickness of his rear legs, he smashed me on the head. That fast. Not just a minor hit, a major whop with the full force of his energy. I knew in an instant I had a concussion. I was fairly sure. I waited for a bit just to check in with myself. Yeah, it was like walking down the aisle of a bus while it's moving. I'm sure many of you have tried that. I got myself some dinner so I'd have enough of a clear head, and off I went to the emergency room. And yep, concussion. Boy, the emergency room was full and there was only one doctor, but that must have been the most efficient doctor I've ever met. She took care of everyone. Bing, bing, bing. And did I have to wait unduly? No. She ordered a CAT scan. The CAT scan was red. She issued the papers, and out I went. Nice and easy. I'm really thankful for that in this moment. Sometimes emergency room visits can be so traumatic and drawn out. But this one, I was comfortable enough. No one was getting too excited, least of all me. No particular medical fuss about what I might need. It seemed to be a temporary condition, and I was able to go on home. Yes, I knew I'd have to rest for a few days. Take it easy, maybe not do so many things, be a little quieter, tone down momentary excitements, that kind of thing. It's an inconvenience, annoying, pain in the butt, but that's how life goes. But that's not where my head went, because this whole event had me looking at myself differently as a senior. All of a sudden, I became a lot more sensitive to my age, what my capabilities might be, how I might heal in an older body, and what the long-term outcome really is for me, an older person. It's hard enough for me to swallow not doing a whole lot for the next 2 weeks or so. My seasonal job is about to start up, and it's pressured at the beginning of the season. Thank goodness my boss is going to be able to cover for me. That's a workaday kind of worry. An inconvenience, something annoying. But here's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect to have a revolution in my thinking about myself. Because now all of a sudden, I have a sense of fragility about being a senior. I might not heal as fast or as well as I'm used to. My brain is kind of precious to me. Will it fix itself? How frail am I really? I don't think of myself as a frail person. I'm spry. I don't generally fall over or lose my orientation. But this past week, I've been living with this niggling fear for my future. I never really concerned myself with this before. I've really worked at hedging the odds of having an accident in my space here. By that, I mean I've hedged with the design and the features of my little home. I have so much been appreciating my handicap bathroom in the last week. The bars in the shower have been so helpful, and the fact that I can just walk right into it. My careful planning in the layout of my kitchen, where almost all of my essentials are between my hips and my shoulders, so I have almost no bending or reaching, and then having a nice, uncomplicated, small space to live in. Really, it's been a pleasure. But there's some things that I can't hedge. And this incident reminded me of that. Put it right in front of my eyes. There are things that can happen that I have no control over. Accidents, one-offs, they're unpredictable. And that's what life is about. And this has brought me to a place of uncertainty, a place I don't like to live in. It took me where, in a flash, outside of my control, my life could be dramatically changed. And as a senior, I might have very little recourse to recover from it. Thankfully, I don't seem to be in that arena. I have ended up very clued in about the fragility of my age. That's not somewhere I was in the beginning of the week. On the personal level, I know you all see how connected Brekkie and I are. He looks at the world from right next to me, right behind me a lot of the time. And I love that about him. And he and I are almost two peas in a pod. We're both extremely curious and can be rash and highly energized in the moment. So what happened when Brekkie gave me the concussion? He was just being him. And I understand rash and curious. It's just that he's younger and that can be dangerous for me. This event, it's going to affect our lives, right? Our form of connection. Because now I have an element of needing to worry about my safety in our bondedness, in our need to be close to each other. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. The simple solution would have been for me to rotate the couch so he could look out the window and not be directly behind my back. I did that. He would rather be behind my back than look out the window. So we're back to square one, having to figure each other out, what's safe and what isn't, what should alarm me in the moment, and what's just a bit of jiggle in the couch. Have you ever had a similar experience where something comes at you from out of the blue and suddenly has you looking at yourself differently, especially as we go about our senior years, where life can seem a lot shorter? The bigger part of our lives is behind us, where there's more potential for even minor accidents becoming disabling. And your fear about that. Tell us your story in the comments. I'll bet so many of us have been through this before, and it's heartwarming to hear it from others. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm sure there'll be follow-up and related stories. And that's it from me for now, but we'll talk soon, all right? See you then.